on, guys? I'm Mike Pouncey, former center for the Miami Dolphins. I'm here with Coach Fred and my brother Marquise Pouncey, former center for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let you guys know that Twin P is official liquor, the Common Man Podcast. Bottoms up, Twin P, best. Gotta drink some more.
What up? Appreciate you guys coming in for another edition of the Ride Drive 5. Ride with your boy one more Wednesday. Shout out to the right there, P Whiskey. I'll go and go while y'all come. Hold on. Real quick, while we try to get this going, just to make sure that we got everything where we need it to be, guys. Yo. Can you hear me? Am I back? What about now? Is it rolling now? Gosh darn it, doohickey. All right, man. Let's restart that, Zach. Let's restart that, man. Let's start this thing back over. Here we go. Boom. Here we go. We back in it. Back up and running. Sorry about the technical difficulties, but I think you all know we have that when you're dealing with the technology of today. But nonetheless, man, we're gonna keep it going. You know how we do it as we send support to those that support us. Twin P, official whiskey of the Common Man Podcast. Uh, Mike and Marquise Pouncey, and then those boys also sent uh, some of their tropical distillery, which is the name of their distillery, vodka. I call it Miami Vice vodka because of the packaging. As you can see, I might be dating myself, but if you remember Miami Vice, you know why I say that. We got another sponsor added to the show, Nut Huggers Apparel on IG. Send us over some stuff, man. Ladies, it's almost Father's Day. Make sure you tap in with Nut Huggers Apparel on IG and check out. Use Coach as your code for a small discount. A thank you for listening and dealing with us in this situation with the technology. But without further ado, we get into our guest. As I get into his bio, this book that I have. Let's make sure. Oh, that was the problem, Blue. I didn't toast the show. Always toast the show. Twin P. Here's to another great episode. Now we in there. A native of the most powerful city in the world. I don't know about that. Born and raised in D.C. before coming and attending Florida A&M. Graduated from Florida A&M with a print journalism degree. He's worked professionally in the journalism business profession for over 24 years. New York Times regional newspaper. He's covered the Kansas City Royals. He's covered the Tampa Bay Storm, Arena, Tampa Bay Lightning hockey, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's worked with ESPN.com, Tampa Bay Times. He was the NFC South beat writer, Fan Rag Sports, Associated Press, the award-winning journalism column, writing, reporting. He's covered the NBA Finals. He's covered the Stanley Cup Finals twice, 2 Super Bowls, numerous high school state championships, 2 Final Fours, 5 BCS championships, Division II basketball, baseball championships. He now has a podcast, Mick and Rick Sports Talk Show, that airs live every Wednesday, 7:05. So we got to hurry. Eastern, with former Florida A&M men's and women's basketball coach Mickey Clayton. The show airs on YouTube, Insights, Roku TV, Android, available for both iPhone and Android. Rick just celebrated his 25th wedding anniversary. Congratulations. I just said his name. They have 2 kids, Rashard and KJ, 2 grandchildren, Riley and Raylan. His first scored touchdown. Oh, man. No, that was not, and I'm not going to read that. Without further ado, man, let's bring in my guy, man, Rick Brown.
Finish it. No, don't stop. Don't stop. Finish it. Finish it. We always talked about you do not stop until you finish it. Finish the bio.
Hey, Uncle Ricky, man. Hey, man, welcome to Common Man Podcast, brother. I thank you. I know you're busy. I've been knowing you for a while. Was able to bump into you at a fundraising event, which I'll let you talk about once we get rolling. I'm here recently, asked you to come on and talk. You're here. All I can do is say thank you. Take another shot for you during the show. Hey, man. Talk to me. What's going on?
What's happening? Now, should I call you Leroy? Should I call you Lee? Should I call you Leroy? Should I call you Coach Fred? Should I call you Fred? You just got so many names, brother. I just don't know where to start here. No, thank you. No, seriously. Fred, thanks for having me on the Common Man Show. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it. This is I like what you're doing. Been following you from afar, been keeping tabs on you. You're doing the thing, man. So keep doing it. Keep doing it. The only active coach on YouTube. You see it? You see it? Ain't no joke. What's going on, my brother?
Except for today, technical difficulties within StreamYard, not allowing us to go directly there. Man, I just want to get into your story, man, as quick as possible. Talk about what it is that you've done. Talk about what it is that you're doing. As we go with the HBCU sector, as far as the podcast is concerned, we try to keep this strictly HBCU football. It's the off season, so when you're coming up with content and doing different things, you kind of get creative. You don't want to be stale. And who did I think of to keep me from being stale in the June month of waiting for football season? My guy, Rick Brown. Rick, been knowing you for a long time, man. And like I said, we'll get into it. Start me from the beginning. Start me from the beginning. From DC. Still with me, Rick? You with me, Rick? Rick. I don't know if I lost Rick, if Rick lost me. Uh, we're going to stay right here for a minute and try to get Rick back in. Really excited about having Rick on, former beat writer for the Bucks. And, we got some questions we want to get answered with Rick. So we're going to see what happens here and try and fight through the little text that we're having. Get Rick up, see if we can't get Rick's full story and kind of go at it, man. Okay, so what me was Rick. Rick's in the middle of a lightning storm, so he's going to come right back in. It always rains in Florida around this time of day, and that's kind of where he is with it. But like I said, as soon as Rick get in, man, we're going to get back to a story. Having a guy on from DC. Again, thank you all for coming in. Thank you for being patient with us. As you know how it goes into the summer months when you start dealing with those things. Weather, can't really control it. It is what it is, right? So with that being said, again, thank you guys, man. Gives you a chance to tell a friend to come on in. Get ready for a great conversation, man, as we get ready to pick it back up with our guest today, Rick Brown, former beat writer, like I said, of the Buccaneers, the Orlando Magic, former Florida A&M. Well, shouldn't say former. He's a alumnus of Florida A&M. So we're going to talk things Florida A&M. We're going to talk things Buccaneers. We're going to find out what he's hearing on the street about the good old Bucks and everybody else in the NFC South as it pertains to our guys that are there. As you know, this show is HBCU football grounded with health. I hope you guys had a chance to go back and watch the episode, or at least part of the episode with Dr. Parker, or at least part of the episode with Nurse Pamela, the lady that has the same last name as me. And we back.
You see, God don't like ugly. God don't like ugly.
Yeah, that's where you was trying to go with it. Hey, but let's jump into it, man. From DC. Tell me about that, man. Born and raised?
Born and raised in the city of DC. Came to Florida. First time came to Florida was for a senior class trip in March or April, and came to fam in August of that year. Heard 2 Live Crew. Didn't want to go back to DC ever again. So, no, love my time at fam. Fortunate enough to get a job in the profession that I love. Couldn't hit a 3-2 curveball, so decided to write about people who could. That's how I became a sports writer. The Ledger, New York Times regional newspaper in Lakeland. Started there. Thought I was going to only be there for a couple of years. Spent 24 years there. Met some incredible people, including yourself, the Pounceys. Hey, twins. Hook a brother up with the little bottle there. I love that. Sorry, I digress. And now just chilling, deciding if I'm going to retire or officially, or write a book, or just what. But doing the podcast, Mick and Rick show, been great show. Like you, who concentrate on HBCU football, we touch on a lot of everything in HBCUs, and we do some national stuff, but we do sports for us, because if we don't tell our story, who will? So that is fun. That has been a lot of fun.
And that's big time. And that's kind of my whole thing with it as well, Rick. Wanted to give a behind the curtains real look. I work for a great guy who doesn't mind me doing what I do, even though I'm still in the profession, in the business. But when we become coaches, I think it's an automatic that at any level, when you become a coach, you have to instantly become paranoid, as if someone's trying to steal your mama's secret recipe for homemade biscuits. You instantly become paranoid. You don't want to talk about anything because if you talk about too much, then they're going to get your secrets. But anyway, I work for a great guy who's kind of giving me the open door to do it. So DC, now, was this senior trip something that your school did all the time, or is this something that just happened to come up your senior year?
Well, no, I mean, a lot of classes do senior trips. We just happened to go on a cruise for our senior trip, and it was out of Florida. So we got on a bus, 24-hour trip, it seemed like, all the way down, and had a wonderful time on the cruise. Oh, my goodness. First time on the cruise. and listen, I was 17 at the time. I hadn't turned 18 yet, but the drinks were flowing. What I do, folks, do not do. I'm telling you this as a precautionary tale, okay? But no, drinks were flowing and the food was good and the weather was lovely. That gave me my first inkling that I may like the state of Florida. And then once I came to FAM that first day, and
the rest, because you could have ended up elsewhere.
Yeah.
Had that senior trip been somewhere else.
True. Well, no, if we didn't come down here, if my mom didn't make me come to Florida, because I wanted to go to Bowie State actually to play baseball. I had an opportunity to go there and play baseball.
Okay.
Mom said if I didn't like FAM my first year, I could come back and transfer. I could have gone to Colorado. I could have gone to Howard, which is in DC, or Bowie State, which is, for those who don't know, is in Maryland, suburb of DC, right outside. So I would have been home. I think my mom wanted to get me away from the city, and which was right because it was kind of tough up there, kind of rough, but we persevere, we get through. But I fell in love with Florida, and I knew I wanted to spend some time here. Like I said, I didn't expect to be in Lakeland for as long as I was, but I mean, good people there. They were actually good people there, and I grew up there. I actually grew up. So, bam.
Good deal. So we get to FAM, and this is one of the stories that I always wanted to get from you because I didn't know how you got to this. The love, the passion. How did you get to it, to journalism as you did?
I was never a talker. I never believed I could write though. All of my emotions, when I would get mad, I would just sit down and write. Cuss people out, but I'd be writing. Cuss my mom out, but I'd be writing, So I express myself better writing. Always loved sports, always participated in sports some kind of way. So it was a perfect match. When I went to high school, they had a program, a good journalism program. So I said, okay, this blends right in. And so the only thing was I going to get on TV? Was I going to go broadcast route or print? That was a no-brainer because, like I said, I thought I wrote better than I talked. So, and then sports, because of my love for that, it was just a natural fit for it. Just that I couldn't play anymore. So why not stay in the profession that you love and doors just opened up. I mean, best internship I had was in Minnesota, my senior year, and man, doing twin stuff, doing Timberwolves draft stuff. I was like, man, I'm in heaven. Yeah, okay, yeah, that just solidified it. And once I got to FAM, great instructors, great motivators, gave you an opportunity. And then we had to take an internship at the local paper, the Democrat.
Right.
And then I just started working there part-time while I was in school. And like I said, the rest is really history. One funny story, though. Not funny, but I think you all have to fall down before you get back up. I came down to interview for the Tampa Tribune. And after the interview, the guy told me, well, you're not good enough for us to open up a full-time job for you. You know, why don't you just come in as a correspondent? And all I heard was that I wasn't good enough. And I said, no, thank you, but no, thank you. I'll be okay. And the next week later, I had an interview at the Ledger, and they were like, psh, we love you. Come on down. And a few years later, when I was covering the Lightning, that same guy who told me I wasn't good enough for the Tribune said, Rick, I've been following you. You've done a great job. We're going to have an opening in a few blah, blah, blah. Why aren't you coming over? And I looked at him and said, nah, y'all not good enough for me. And I walked away. Kind of petty, but being from where I'm from, Petty's my middle name. So that was that.
Not kind of petty. A lot petty. But
you can't burn bridges like that, I know, but
I get it. I fully get it.
He motivated me. I mean, he pissed me off. Like, I'm not good enough. Man, you out your...
I'll show you.
Not
Not those words.
Paul Smith. I'll never forget him. Paul Smith. God rest his soul now. But he gave me the motivation, that the kick in the butt that was needed to stop being complacent and to go out and do things. And I think my career was okay. It was okay.
Definitely that, man. And like I said, kudos to the start. I met you well after knowing who you were, meaning I met you after seeing your columns in the Ledger, seeing your picture, the little awards y'all used to print for the county and things like that. And then, I always thought it was really cool because on Friday night, you're writing about Mulberry Senior High School. On Saturday, you're writing about Florida State Seminoles. And then on Sunday, you were writing about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right? So as we always talk about, like you said on the show, sports-wise, I know we kind of face it. We face it at times because of where we come from, so to speak. In your line of work, being a beat writer, when you get to talking to other guys and you say you're from FAMU, how is that? Did you meet any challenges like, okay, you're from FAM, well, I'm from a Harvard. Is it that in the business as well?
Not really. If you're in the state, you might get some people nudge you and all that. Some Florida Staters, some UFers, they may nudge you a little bit. Oh, you in the FAM? Oh, that's good. Yeah. Yeah, I went to UF or whatever, some of that, but no, what it is, what my thing was overcoming was my skin
in the business.
For the most part, and not really overcoming because I was the first beat writer for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Who knows about hockey in Florida? I grew up with hockey with the Washington Capitals. So I wanted that. No one at the paper wanted it. It was yours. So, and being the only Black reporter, a lot of times, except for the Florida Panthers, that was interesting. But you know what? The players were professional. They gave it to me just like I was anybody else. And that's all you could do. You know, that's all you can ask for is respect me. Respect. And if you don't like what I write, tell me about it. And let's talk about it. So it wasn't so much FAMU. It was my color. It was my paper. Because remember, the Ledger, compared to the Trib, the Times, Miami, Jacksonville, Fort Lauderdale, was small paper.
Small time. Yeah.
You know, so people would look at you like, where are you from? Where's Lakeland, Florida? If you drive down I-4, you have to go through Lakeland if you go from Orlando to Tampa. So you pass Lakeland, trust me. We're not that small. Bastards. But now some of that I had to overcome with some coaches, with some, not really the players. I mean, players know game. So they know if you know what you're talking about,
they're gonna rock with you.
Yeah. The players rock with me big time. And that's how I was able to get over. People will always be like, okay, why is such and such always talking to Rick? Why? Because I'm not talking about sports. I'm talking about life. I'm kicking it. I'm just talking. And most of us were Black there, except in hockey. Hockey was a learning curve, but after the second year,
because a lot of people don't realize the Lightning was Florida's newer, but the Lightning is still a pretty new franchise. And everybody in the state was in awe, shock and awe, when we were awarded a NHL franchise in Tampa. Like, wait a minute, a hockey team in Tampa? You know,
do they even have ice in Florida? You know,
like, how's that gonna work? You know what I mean? It gets really hot there. How's that gonna work? You know,
that was crazy.
That was really crazy at the time. And then, you know, at the other time, you know, I tell my players all the time that the arena league that we know is not what you guys see now. That was big time football, right?
Yeah, it was.
Orlando, Tampa, Battle I-4. The War on I-4. Both arenas stayed packed. Both franchises were really good. And you were right there in the midst of it, writing about it in the locker room. Let me ask you this, and this is kind of off of what we talk about, but let me ask you this, because I say it all the time. The downfall of that league is when they started to pay the quarterbacks way more than anybody else on the team. What is your take on that?
I don't think so. That may have been a part of it. I mean, I think they had multiple steps that really doomed that league. The league that we knew anyway.
Right.
I really think when they changed the scheduling, because they had the summers to themselves.
Yes.
Nothing was going on. But when they moved
started at the end of spring, because you start at the end of spring and you move into the summer.
Yeah. But when they moved that, when they changed it up, there were too many other things going on. And people were like, well, yeah, I like the Preds, but shoot, hey, this is going on, or, you know, a spring game is going on or something. And I think they got too big for their britches. They thought they were better than they actually were. And they had a nice run, man. That Arena League run was good. I mean,
get to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Get to a lot of people.
And it was the only spring league there. It was no USFL or XFL at the time. So yeah,
Right.
it was kind of quirky with inside and the padding and all of that, but man, some
Once you
athletes
learned
there.
it, yeah. Once you learned it, it was it was fast paced. Once you learned it, uh,
Yes.
downtown Eddie Brown, uh, HBCU ties. There were so many Cornell Maynard. There were
Yeah.
so many HBCU players that played in that,
Barry
and
Wagner,
Barry
Stevie
Wagner,
Thomas, Jay
Stevie
Gruden, not
Thomas,
an HBCU guy, but Jay Gruden, who became an NFL coach, played
crazy
in the Arena Football League.
quarterback. Yeah,
Quarterback.
marquee quarterback, marquee
Yes.
quarterback in the league, one of the tops. Yeah, definitely.
Good
Um,
coaching. Tim Markham, Perry
man, rest
Moss.
so
Yes,
yeah,
it was fun. The league was fun. They didn't take themselves too seriously, but quick
a lot
story
of us were
and
teachers.
yeah,
A lot of us were teachers, so it was nothing to get serious about. You know what I mean? Like getting your nose too high in the air, because your whole seventh period is up there yelling and screaming. So it was a quick humble. Now ain't no doubt about it.
and some of the people though were able to get a shot in the pros, in
Yeah,
the NFL, and that was cool. I enjoyed my time in arena football. You would not ever hear me say anything bad about arena football. That was one of the most, and it's not a word, but most funnest times I've ever had. Even though, listen, Friday night it was, let me try to get it right. Friday night was Orlando and Saturday was Tampa or vice versa. I don't,
yeah,
yeah, that's all. I think Friday night was Orlando's home games and Saturday was
yeah,
Tampa.
yeah,
They
yeah.
used to have play in the Thunderdome or what is it called there, Tropicana Field or whatever. That sucker, they used to have 20,
Pack.
30,000 people there before they moved to the Ice Palace.
Yeah,
Um,
easily.
or Amalie Arena now. I'm sorry. Still calling it back
Same
in the day.
same
But
place.
just great times. Just great times. And great people I met. Indeed.
So DC boy down in Florida, uh, on the hill,
Mm,
uh,
mm.
as quick as you can. And we started speeding up, man. What did you go home a lot?
Oh yeah. I went home every holiday if I could. Um, my first year went home Thanksgiving, went home spring break, went home for the summer. Second year didn't go home Thanksgiving. Uh, um, I think I may have gone home spring break. No, it was verse. I went home Thanksgiving and didn't go home spring break.
Went to
Third
Daytona?
year, yeah, I went home summer. Went home summer that year. My first 3 years, I went home during the summer.
Okay, went
And,
back to the
and then,
DMV.
yeah, and then worked there. And then I got internships and started working and then go home during the summer then. Or went home for a little bit and then went to my
Came on back.
internships.
Got it.
Um,
Got it.
yeah, but I went home as often as I could, as I wanted to, basically. But it wasn't like it was from Tampa
All right.
to Tally, or from Lakeland to Tally. You had to fly. And mom was like, look, man, I told you when you went down, you wasn't coming home all the time. And I was like, fine. If I want to come home, I'll drive. I'll get someone driving up there.
Did you have
So
friends from the DMV there during the same time?
funny, I didn't know it, but at the time, dude, I went to junior high school with uh was there. Rod Rodriguez was in the Marching 100. Uh he was at FAM, and I just ran into him freshman year. Just Drigo, cuz, what's up, cuz? And we talked, and but he was the only one until Sheldon Martinez, better known as DJ Saxwell, rest his soul, DJ. Uh, he came down the following year, And so those were the only two guys I knew prior to FAM. And everybody else, I mean, first two dudes I met were from Fernandina Beach, Florida. And I was in both their weddings. They were in mine. They're good peoples. And then I met dudes from the DMV up there, and we kicked it, Ron Bailey's, and who introduced me to Mays, Frankie Beverly and Mays, and good times. Just good times meeting people, growing. First time on your own, but I never was scared. Never was worried. It was, I mean, Tallahassee to me seemed like a country town. And I had an arrogant, I mean, really.
You from the DMV. I get it. Yeah, from the DMV, no doubt.
My mentality was, I was only $140, but I didn't care. I wasn't worried, wasn't scared or anything. I don't bother nobody. I do my thing, but I ain't taking no mess either. So, oh yeah? Okay, let's try. I have no problems at FAM. And same at Lakeland when I came down. Lakeland reminded me of Tallahassee more so than anywhere else, except I had a car here. And when I got tired of Lakeland, it was time to go. And where would I go? Tallahassee. Back to the hill.
Back to the hill. Hey, so describe to me and the people here your first homecoming.
My first homecoming at FAM? Oh, as a student.
As a student.
Magical. We played we played Hampton. How do I remember we played Hampton? Wow. We played Hampton. And Hampton was the school that my mother went to, my aunt and uncle went to, my cousins went to.
So how did you not go? I know I didn't mean to take you out of the story, but that's your family. That's your family's school. So how did you not wind up in Hampton?
I wasn't the first one not to go to Hampton. One of my uncles went to another HBCU, I don't think is there anymore, St. Paul's College in Lawrenceville, Virginia. And where else did they go? Hampton. Oh, and my dad went to Norfolk State. So, but that's right next door to Hampton. But no, I didn't want to go to Hampton. Hampton wasn't even on my radar. Hampton didn't have a journalism program that I cared about. So I knew I was going for journalism. Wherever I went, it was going to be for journalism. So
that was your love. That was your passion.
Yeah, and FAM had they were accredited. The first HBCU to be accredited in journalism.
Shout out.
No brainer. I was, let's go. Let's ride. That's all, Rattlers. Y'all used to do good. Y'all do good. Oh, hold on.
No,
switch hats.
I'm talking about the accreditation, man.
There we go.
There we go. I'm talking about to the accreditation. I ain't talking about none of that other mess.
Oh yeah. To the accreditation.
But back to the story, man. Back to the story. Let me be quiet. Back to the story.
Yeah. All right. So think of school days. And you said you were dating yourself back earlier with Miami Vice. But if anyone remembers the movie School Days, the Spike Lee movie, homecoming is like that. The teachers, the professors, they always they talk. No, you're going to be in class and you're going to do this and all that. I don't care if it's homecoming week. They didn't care. And not just the parties, but it was, and I appreciated this more after I graduated and came back and would come back. But the togetherness, it was amazing. It was something going on. All right, if you weren't in the parties, they had gospel shows, they had comedy shows, they had people, big time artists coming down to perform. homecoming, and we had a saying: if you wanted to get into some kind of trouble, you could. If you wanted to. The only reason you won't is if you don't want to. People were open, people were friendly, people wanted to have fun, and they did. And it was homecoming. The football game just topped it off because all of the activities and festivities going on the entire week. As soon as that last game ends, that Saturday night, that Sunday, homecoming Sunday, is on for the rest of for the next 7 days until the following Sunday. After you go to the gospel brunch or something, when you're like this,
trying to get it back together.
Should I go to church today? Will God forgive me for this? I don't know how it would have been at a PWI. I am so fortunate and blessed that I was able to attend an HBCU, and one that during that time did have excellence with caring, excellence with caring. I am a rattler.
We got one more question. We got one more question before we start peeling the onion back, and then we get into a little bit of something else before I let you get out of here to get ready for your show. Florida Classic in Tampa or Florida Classic in Orlando?
Orlando, period.
Really?
Oh my God. I was only fortunate to spend maybe three Florida Classics in Tampa.
Okay.
Because by the time I started, then the city started acting up and closing the malls and doing all this extra stuff. That first year in Orlando, oh my goodness, that was off the chain. I almost didn't come home after the game. It was crazy. It is 60 plus thousand. I don't want to give a false number. Second only to the Bayou at that time. That may have had 70 some. But Orlando welcomed the teams, gave them good money, and the scenery and the auxiliary activities. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Orlando.
It was all over the place. It was so spread out. That's why I was like, but it was just so spread out. Orlando's huge, so it was so spread out. If you wanted to try to get to this event, if you want to try to get to that event, it was just so spread out.
True, but if you were doing things that you weren't supposed to be doing, that was good. I don't know about you. Hey, I should have come on with a disclaimer. I'm telling straight, no chaser. I'm telling you straight, no chaser.
I was grown, but I wasn't that. I was grown, but I wasn't that grown. I think maybe I can remember calling out of work like a young person does, because of that. Like that Saturday, I was supposed to be to work at that Saturday at the youth prison, and I called out because there was no way I was going to work because everybody was going to Orlando. So I did what young people do. I call out. You know what I mean? So it started Friday night. Woke up early enough Saturday to call with the. I don't think I'll be able to make it. That voice. A couple more hours, and then we up and we gone. And at the time, Frederick was living over there, so we could get the key to his place, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it was definitely a young man's game at that point. But as we fast forward, man, let's get out of that. As we fast forward,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
you're a beat writer. You're around professional sports. You get into the arenas. You get into the stadiums free. You make a lot of contacts. You make a lot of friends in the business.
Yeah.
What would you tell a young person at a FAMU, at an Alcorn, at a BCU about the profession if they're kind of borderline what they want to do?
The main thing is stay true to the profession. And always remember this. You're a journalist first. So do your job. Do it well. There's time for fun and games. You will be put in some situations. People will call you out. But this professor told me once, Roosevelt Wilson, he said that if everyone agrees with what you're saying, then you're not doing something right. And what he meant by that was that you're just following the line. You're just following. You're not, don't lie, don't make up stuff, but if you call a spade, if you see something that's wrong, call it. I had a problem separating my profession with my friends. Okay. And what I mean by that is that I would get close to the athletes, some athletes, and they would tell me things. Now, are they telling me knowing I'm a reporter, or are they telling me to get things off their chest? In college, especially, I would keep things that some people would tell me to myself. And then I would go up to him and say, don't tell nobody else that, because it'd be on the paper. I wasn't the person who was going to use something to try to boost. If someone told me something that was happening with the Bucks, I didn't. A lot of times I did not. And that's wrong for the profession. That is totally. But as a Black man, I was trying to protect them.
So you weren't out for the likes and the clicks.
No.
Putting it to nowadays terminology.
Yeah, no, I didn't need the clout. It wasn't about the clout for me. No, you're right. I love being at the games. I love covering games. I love a lot of work, long hours, a lot of travel. Wouldn't have changed it to save my life. But when people tell you something and they trust you, you don't burn that trust. And there were some athletes that when I would come around, especially with the Bucks, they would have the Bucks PR staff would have people following me to see what they're saying to me. And that's why eventually, once I caught on to that, I just started talking about, so what do you think about that, the traffic today? Or what do you think about anything but,
Right.
Because they could get in trouble, and I wasn't about that. But yeah, so it's a great profession. And if you can get into it now, there's multiple platforms. You can use this platform to tell your own story. If this platform was around when I was really into it, and I could say and do and work on my own and be who I wanted to be and stop and not towing the company line, oh my goodness, it would have been off the chain. it would have been off the chain. But I'm glad I learned the profession the way I did. But I battle with that. It's a slippery slope because you are a journalist 24/7. You are.
24/7.
But I'm a black man. I was a black man before I was a journalist.
True. And speaking of, I met you. Well, not met you. Seen you a few weeks ago at the event. You want to talk about the event that we were both at?
Yeah, the Ray Lewis. I want to get it right. I was going to say Love Foundation, but that's not right. Basically, it was a Ray Lewis Foundation production, and Ray was there, and what he's doing. A lot of men struggle, a lot of people struggle, but black men especially with mental health issues. And this foundation is going to really dive into that and do things to help. Because it's okay to say you need help. It's okay to admit that there's something may be off. And Ray and his foundation sees that there is need for help and for people to be able to say, I need help. And he's going to do something about it. So that was the kickoff to it. And it's a good thing. Ray being from Lakeland, Florida. I thought it was great. Yes. He went to Kathleen High. So it's good that he's bringing it to Polk County. And I think that's a good place to start. And then you can expand once you refine it and get it the way you want to. Then you can expand it to other cities, to the Baltimores and Miami's and where he's been. And I don't know if that's his vision or not, but he has a platform that he can do a lot of things with. And I love seeing that he's doing something. He calls it his hometown, doing something for his home county, doing something positive.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. There was a lot of money people in there, right? And I ease in, and then then there was me. I ease in, and I'm only there for a minute. The bottom just falls out, right? So I'm only there for a minute, and then, I'm trying to move on to another event. And he spots me, and there's a lot of money people, and he just starts beelining, and everybody's trying to stop him for this picture, and he's like, man, daps me up, and we're standing there talking, and everybody's whispering like, who is that dude dressed like that? I mean, people in there with suits. You had on a suit. I didn't have on a suit. And everybody's whispering, and they're like, who is that? Who is that dude? That Ray basically ran me over to get over to. So, it's funny. And then when I seen his mom, his grandmother that he lived with that raised him, and my great-grandmother, yards were adjointed. So they were really good friends. We played on the same little league team before he left and went to Kathleen, but we've been friends for years. So it's just kind of funny to see how the room turns around and is like, who is that? Who did he play for?
That says a lot about him, though, for real, though, because, I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. And to still recognize who you were, and he could have been big. He could have big, and that's not Ray. Ray's not. He doesn't big time people. Even if he doesn't remember you, really, he'll make you feel like he remembers you. That's the type of guy he is.
Man, I'd have called Baby Ray out. Oh, Baby Ray, it's like that. He don't like people to call him Baby Ray. Baby Ray, it's like that. Come on now, Miss Estimate, Geneva. Come on now, they wouldn't like this. Ray, don't act like that. I would have called him out like that. But let's leave it here nor there. Let's cut through it, man, because I got to get you out of here in a few seconds. What's your thoughts on your alma mater right now, man, and what's going on in the athletic department since we talking athletics?
There are dark times at the university right now, but as a famous philosopher said, through the darkest night, there's always tomorrow, a bright tomorrow. So, things happen. And it seems like it's just tumbling, presidential, athletics, blah, blah, blah. But it's okay because FAM has been around since 1887 and there's been some dark times in the past, but it's always survived. And we'll survive this too. It's just a little hiccup.
So let me ask you this. For me, someone sent it to me about her turning herself in. I thought this was something old or false, fake news, right? And I open it up and it's like, no, I was like, but wait a minute. She got hired on such and such date. They had to have known this was coming down or that this was a possibility, right? So
you would
my
think
question,
if they did the research.
So that's my question to you as an alum, like the whole $264 gazillion giveaway, right? No one did any backstory or whatever on that. And then we have this situation because I think it was split, half wanted her, half didn't. If that happened so quickly after said person was hired, right? You someone had to know, right?
You would think. And
I'm only asking you this because you're in the world of journalism. So,
I am, but this caught me totally off guard. I didn't know anything about this until it popped up on my feed, and I was like, "Here we go." Things happen in threes. Here we go. So, you would think, but we've had, as in the past, we've had issues with our vetting systems, per se, vetting things in the past. So hopefully this wasn't it. This wasn't one of those occasions. Hopefully they knew. Someone with power knew. And after reading some things, I think it'll all get squared away.
Okay, we'll leave it at that.
It will get squared away one way or the other. How it does, I can't tell you, but it will. And FAM will have a football team.
No, ain't no doubt. It's coming.
It's coming. We will have a homecoming.
Guess who's coming?
Guess who's back?
Guess who's coming? Yeah, guess who's coming? Hey, real quick, man. Someone wanted to know from your connects and from what you're hearing down there. Again, this is an HBCU type of sports show. How is Shiloh doing with the Buccaneers down there? What are you hearing?
I mean, he's holding his own. But, right now you're just in shorts. As long as you're in your playbook and you're showing effort, you're just trying to make it to that first preseason game. And once you get in, that's when you show your worth. The practices, you show and all, but that's just in shorts. That's flag football. That's what we were doing that you didn't read the end of my bio.
True.
So, He's doing well. He hasn't done anything. I always tell people in OTAs and stuff, when you don't hear any news, that's good. Because usually the news you hear isn't that good. So now if a coach is talking about you, you had a good practice and all, okay. But once you get on the pads and you go against another team, that's when you show your worth. Your real worth, and if you're going to make the team. So far so good. But we'll see.
Last kid, my kid, Plant City, big boy, D lineman from Florida, but he's from Plant City. What's the word on him? Big Dad. How's he doing now? What's the word on him?
He's big.
He's huge.
Haven't heard about him throwing up or anything like that. So he's still in some decent shape, playing up the road. That helps. So he's going to get a shot. He will get a shot. Now, what he does with it, that's going to be on him.
Totally up to him. And I'll close with this. When I met you, it was under a competitive situation. For years, the quick backstory for anybody that knows me, that knows Rick, that might be in here listening on Rick's behalf. Rick ran the flag football league, right?
I did not run the league.
He ran the league, right?
I played.
He was the guy. He was the guy.
I was the guy.
He was the guy, right?
One of the guys, but I didn't run the league.
He was the guy. So my guy Shane Willis does some recruiting, and he goes and he brings in me and my guy
athletes.
Me, my guy Gero, and then the power in the league instantly shift as we ran off city title after city title after city title.
Yes, you did.
I'm going somewhere with this, Rick. So, we run off city title after city title. Flag football back then was really serious. We traveled. We went to tournaments in St. Pete, Fort Myers, Fort Lauderdale, Las Vegas, Atlanta, Orlando, you call it. We went to tournaments. Rick, what's your thoughts now on the Olympics making flag football a sport? Because all this happens after we were so dominant, right?
I know.
We were dominant. We played everybody. We played everywhere. Shane Willis had us in tournaments. Like we were in tournaments. Like this was a big deal. Saturday, all day championship round on Sundays. The NFL used to have Let It Fly, which is a big tournament over in Tampa. You have teams. You have teams from the West Coast, East Coast, all there playing for Southwest tickets, and a pot that would give a team of 6 like $500 a piece, right? And now, as we get a little gray in our beard, the industry wants to make this a gold medal sport. Rick, what's your thoughts on that, man?
Damn shame. But everything happens for a reason. And they didn't want to send your boy, your crazy boy from Northeast DC to Tokyo or anything like that, and hitting the daggone dude from Europe upside the head. So they didn't want that. So, but no, I guess it's cool. I mean, everyone loves football. They couldn't play football in the Olympics. They can't play it. So this will give them a little taste of it, I guess. I mean, it's cool. It's cool. I'm pissed, but it's cool. It's cool. Hey, before I go, and I got to run, and I hope we do this again. I really appreciate the time. There's so many stories I have and I could tell. Shout out to Tampa Alumni Chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity. Today celebrating the 97th anniversary of the charter. I'm a proud member of that chapter right now, so wearing my TAC shirt. So congratulations. Keep achieving.
Here's the many more.
Yes. 103 years. Yes. So But Fred, thank you
Thank you.
for the show.
Thank you.
And
Definitely.
we got to do this again. Let's do it again before the season starts. Before you get into your role.
Okay. Definitely. We're running back. I appreciate you, Rick. Yes, sir.
Deuces.
Man, there you have it. My guy, Rick Brown, as we say, Slick Rick, Florida A&M alum, Tampa Bay Bucks beat writer, Orlando Magic, Tampa Bay Lightning, all that, right? Hope you got something from it. We kept it light, had a little technical difficulties in the beginning, but I think we got it right toward the end. And again, man, you know what the saying is. When life is just going crazy all around you, take your time and keep it all on the table. As we try to get up out of here.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Mike Pouncey, former center for the Miami Dolphins. This is my brother Marquise Pouncey, former center for the Pittsburgh Steelers. What's up, everyone? This is our new cigar line. It's called Twin P. It also matches well with our bourbon whiskey. It's called Twin P as well. So if you like to smoke cigars and like to drink whiskey, I advise you get both.
Thank you guys again. See you next Wednesday.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Mike Pouncey, former center for the Miami Dolphins. This is my brother Marquise Pouncey, former center for the Pittsburgh Steelers. What's up, everyone? This is our new cigar line. It's called Twin P. It also matches well with our bourbon whiskey. It's called Twin P as well. So if you like to smoke cigars and like to drink whiskey, I advise you get both.